with some information. And with this episode, I've gone through a challenge at this time. It's talking about your message. And so this is an important idea, something that really I think high school students need to understand, that being you have a message. We all have a message. But before I continue here, I want to give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors. First sponsor we have is Rock City Cafe, located here in Colorado Springs. Rock City Cafe is rock music, solid food, and a feel-good local spot for the people. Come enjoy delicious eats with a great atmosphere. Rock City Cafe, located at 1812 Dominion Way. Got the menu at facebook.com/Rock City Cafe CS. Locally owned, locally run, and locally focused. Rock City Cafe. And then we have Tabala with Jasper Axelrad. Thank you, Jasper and Tabala, for your guys' focus, what you do for the small business community, the focus on others and getting them seen and heard. Thank you for that. Thank you for your passion to really bring to light those in the business community and sharing their story. So when it comes to this idea that we all have a message, I look back and I view my time in high school as not really showing up and playing big. Kind of stayed in the background. And it's probably surprising for people that know me. I was a very strong introvert, except if I was around my friends, then always outgoing and whatnot. But other than that, I truly believe I was an introvert in high school. And it's probably funny because people that know me now, they're like, there's no way. And so, but it's unique because we all have a message. And so there are times when it comes to being a high school student, the issue we run into a lot of times at that age group for individuals is the fear of being judged, the fear of peer pressure, and going with the flow to try to fit in. And that's not the best thing a lot of times when trying to fit in, because you can miss out on a great opportunity to really share who you are as an individual, to share your message and to share what truly means the world to you, what drives you. And it's interesting because this challenge that I'm in, it's your message matters. And so that is very true. We all have a message. No matter who we are, no matter how old or young we are, everybody has a message. And so you're probably listening to this as a student in high school right now, and you're wondering, you're like, what message do I have? What message do I have that I can share with other individuals? And there was an example for a speech, a talk that was put together with a gentleman. And gentleman's name is Pat Quinn. He was working with a lady, and she was saying that her story started off with she grew up poor. And then Pat worked with her to adjust the story and actually talked about the fact that there was a specific time in this young lady's life at the age of 14 where her family had lost their home. One of her friends in the school invited her family to come and live with that friend's family. So the family and the young lady had gone to the house, and the friend had told them, we don't have any extra bedrooms for you to stay in, but we do have an empty chicken coop that you could stay in if you'd like. And so this young lady had expressed the feelings, the emotions, how she was feeling at that time. And I know that can be very tough as a teenager, a young individual in high school, to bring up and share that story because of the fear of being judged. And everybody's gone through a struggle. We've all gone through something that really was that starting point that hit that pivot to adjust and move forward to be where you're at. So that's the thing with your message. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be scared of it. You have a message that somebody else needs to hear. I speak on this from another book, that the gift is within the struggle, or your struggle is your gift. Not exactly for sure the title of the book, but it is talking about that every struggle that we go through is a gift that each of us has that is meant to be shared. And so we all, like I said, we all have a message to share. And so one thing that you want to kind of think about when you're looking at your message is, what is the message that you have that matters most to you? What's that message? What do you want to do to impact the world? What do you want to do to set up and help improve the lives of your classmates, your friends, your extended family, your community? Because all of us play a different role in regards to the impact, the change that we can help with others in regards to what they're going through. So you can't be shy of your story, you can't be shy of your message, and you can't run away from it. Because if you don't share that message, somebody else misses out. And it could be a classmate that may be struggling, and maybe you've gone through something similar, and you can share that message and let the individual know that it's okay. You will make it through this situation, which sometimes we look and it just doesn't seem like we can get through it. Like, this is not going to work out. But you have that message. You have something that you've done to overcome whatever that is to get to where you're at. And so your message is meant to be shared. It's just that as teenagers, I know when I look back at being a teenager, we get scared. I know a lot of times we don't want to speak up. We don't want to stick out. And a lot of times we try to blend in, and we hang out with the crowd that is who we are. And so it is getting out there and share your message and not be scared. You got to get to the point where you can't worry about what other people think. And I know that's tough right now. Somebody that's in high school, there's like, well, I've got to worry about what my friends think. If they're true friends, they're going to accept you for who you are, for that message that you have, the story that you have. And if they're not a true friend, then they're not meant to be in your life. They're not meant to be part of your journey. And so it's something that you got to look at. So that's one thing to think about, is message that you have that matters to you. What do you want to do? How do you want to impact the lives of others? And like I said, no matter how young you are, you have a message that is needed to be shared, needed to be heard by somebody else, needed to be there as that spark for somebody else potentially. You just never know. And the unique thing is that maybe you think that your story is just ordinary. And the cool thing about an ordinary message, an ordinary story, is that resonates with a lot more people than, let's say, Pat had given the example that he's worked with astronauts. But when this astronaut's talking about that story of being in space, how many of us have been in space before? Not a lot of us. And so you got to think about it. How are people going to resonate with that message if they've never experienced it before? Or if it's so outlandish and they don't know what's going on and they've never experienced it, it's not going to click. So maybe you're thinking, you're like, I've just got this ordinary story. Nobody's going to resonate with it. But the thing is that ordinary story, a lot of people have gone through that situation. Some sort of iteration of that situation that you've gone through. And so they can click and they can feel what you felt. They can understand those thoughts that you're having. And so that's a beautiful thing, that an ordinary message is going to resonate with a lot more people than an extraordinary message, because of the number of individuals that it impacts, that it affects. And so it's one thing to think about, that even if you believe that your story is ordinary, you're going to make a lot more, you're going to create a lot more impact for people by sharing that ordinary message, that story, because it's going to resonate with a lot of people. And the unique thing is that the best stories in the world are the ones that are told. The ones that are kept as a secret, they're not the best told stories, because nobody knows about it. And so if you have a message, you have a story, share it. And the people that are meant to hear this story, to hear this message, will hear it and receive it. The ones that aren't meant to receive it won't hear it. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. And so you can't worry about that. And I know you're probably listening, you're like, there's no way. Like, Scott doesn't understand. I understand. It's been a while since I've been a teenager. But when I look at this, I'm like, man, if I would have known this and had somebody speak on this, probably been a little bit different. And then also the fact that you go out there and you share your message, it puts you in a better position that as you're growing up and you're becoming adults, becoming a well-rounded member of our society and going out there and doing big things, that by going through the habit and the motions to not be scared to share your message at a young age, when you get older, these type of challenges, these type of things to come up and share will not be as difficult to overcome because you've done it before at such a young age. And so it will make it easier, and it will be one of those things that will become secure to you as an individual as you do it more and more. And so the biggest thing is understand you have a message that somebody else needs to hear, a message that you need to share. Because if you can share that message and it impacts one life, that is huge, because your story becomes more than you once it resonates with somebody else. When somebody agrees and it clicks with them and it impacts their lives, your story becomes bigger than who you are as an individual. So thank you guys for your time. If you found value in this message, in this podcast, all I ask is that you share it. Other than that, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great night. Peace out. Love you.